Hello everyone and welcome to Spider-Man. I'm Drunken Dan.
I mean, I was trying to think of something really controversial and offensive to start this off with, and then I just kind of got nothing, so,
Well, yeah, because,
I already got all of my, like, coronavirus jokes out pre-recording, because, you know,
yeah,
that's the way I do things.
So
Other people, like, save things for recording, for, like, entertainment purposes, not me!
So, one thing I want to talk about real quick, because I mentioned in one of the previous Spider-Man ones I was going to be playing Yakuza. Well, so I started with 3, and it didn't take me long to say fuck this, and I went to 4, and I'm having a better time. I can tell you the exact sequence of events that made me go, oh god damn it, fuck this shit. So, after all of the filler, people get shot, and also the weird fucking, like, jumping of the timeline, because, I don't know, they thought they were being clever, I guess. And this is, of course, after they wrote out Kaoru, because that wasn't his OTP. They have this exact moment where a character gets shot, and he's like, alright, I gotta go back to Komorocho. We gotta go back to Komorocho, we gotta deal with it. And the next day comes. Oh, there's a dog here. Let's go chase the dog. Oh, wait, hold on. There's a guy who's gonna teach me nunchuck tricks. I'm gonna talk to the guy with the nunchuck tricks. Okay, back to the dog. Okay, now another distraction.
Nunchuck tricks are pretty sick, though.
I was so fucking sick and tired of it.
You know what's better than nunchucks?
I thought, like, I complained about, like, certain things, like, on repeat playthroughs about the pacing of Zero. But, like, oh my god, Zero is a masterclass in pacing when compared to 3. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, 3's definitely the weakest. Well, weakest is the main series, not counting Dead Souls.
Trying to, like, set up urgency and then immediately fucking kicking itself in the dick.
And that's what happens when Kiryu becomes the happy-go-lucky guy who just wants to raise orphans, I guess.
That's what happens when a Japanese Yakuza novelist leaves the series and some fucking twit decides to start writing it. Tell me I'm wrong!
I mean, you're wrong, but I don't know why you're wrong. I just, you know, don't like agreeing with people.
Oh, okay, that's fair. That sounds like you.
You know? People can tell...
You're wrong. Why? I'll think of a reason.
Yeah, essentially. I remember...
Come on, I'm not Sam.
I remember when I was
Sam.
I remember one of my school memories is a teacher said, "You can argue that black is white, couldn't you?" I was like, you know what? I will. Because...
You know, I'm not surprised that was your response.
You know what? Fine, then!
The other thing that really...
Challenge accepted.
The other thing that I really didn't like when I was playing 3 was that the combat really felt like shit. And I'm not saying that because it's an older game, it felt like shit.
Can I tell you...
I like how whenever you do a backdash as Kiryu, it takes you 15 years.
Can I give you a tip?
It's like, who the fuck made this? I was like, who made this fighting engine? Dark Souls?
Can I give you a tip on how to, like, how to improve the combat system? Mentally replace the word combat with wombat.
So that's how we're getting it in here.
So it's a wombat system. What? No, it's just like wombat.
So that's how we're getting it in. Oh wait, no, that's mongoose. Sorry.
No, yeah, just because wombat system sounds funny. You got a problem with wombat?
You know what would seriously improve the battle system if they injected him with mongoose blood.
He's right, you know.
I'm pretty sure Akiyama has mongoose blood. Have you seen the way that guy moves?
He's fast. And you got to be fast to be a loan shark. Think of how many people he has to have. Think of how many.
Not only that, think of how fast he had to be in order to get his million by just taking the money from the first game, falling out of a exploding building.
I mean,
in the middle of like Main Street, basically.
I do seriously question how people people in the Yakuza universe have trouble like making, you know, millions or billions of yen when it's like, Kiryu just kind of picks it all up as he goes along. Like, every game.
Well, to be fair, usually it's because people start picking fights with him, so you gotta pick fights. Yeah, they have to be really tough.
So yeah, just like walk around Komorocho for like a week. You know?
But while also being really strong.
I mean, it's Yakuza, so everyone who's not a punk is freakishly strong.
I mean, it depends. Some of them aren't. almost none of the women are, other than the girl who teaches you beast style in the prequel.
Kaoru's tough. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, she was like tough for like 2 seconds, and then someone held her at wrist point, and then she was weak.
Yeah, well, that's 2 seconds more than most people get.
And then Kiryu had to step in.
Kiryu always has to step in, though.
I'm just saying, she's not that tough, comparatively.
I mean, no one's as tough. No one's as tough.
She's like tough enough to take on goons.
No one's tough compared to Kiryu.
I mean, I'm not even compared to Kiryu, just other characters.
That's why he's the dragon of Dojima.
I'm just talking about other characters.
And not because it's
Oh my god, motherfucker! You know what I'm saying.
No.
Jesus Christ, you're being annoying.
Yes. How long have we known each other? You only just figured this out.
I don't know why, but my patience is just really low for that right now.
This is my technique. This is how I win. This is how I beat people. I annoyed them into submission.
Okay, Freakazoid.
Nah. My hair's way better.
I can't even argue, but I'm gonna argue anyway and say that you're wrong because I don't know what your hair looks like.
See, now you're doing the train method. You've heard of the man-way method? Well, this is the train method.
Oh, I didn't know I could do this to the flyers. Use the quick dodge, just instantly give them out.
Yes. Flyers are assholes in this game.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, right.
And the DLC enemies are even more annoying.
Some of them.
I hate the ones with the chain guns. Those are really obnoxious.
Yeah. But I mean, it's
just...
been a while since I played the DLC, so it's kind of sorry.
Pretty much what you have to do is wait for them to shoot, like dodge their shot, wait, and then hit them while they're cooling down, and then run away again, and you repeat this process over and over again until they finally die. It's fun.
Yeah. You always need more DACA. Oh.
Jesus Christ.
I'm
glad they throw these flying guys at you towards the end of the game. At least. They were part of the reason why I started beasting through the main story mode, because I just was like fed up with their bullshit really quickly.
Fair. Unfortunately,
I didn't want to run into them while I'm just flying around the city anymore, is what I'm saying.
Understandable.
Understandable.
Unfortunately, I was gonna sit down and watch Joker this week, but other things got in the way.
Joker, baby.
see what all the hype was about, you know? Everyone's, oh my god, it's the best movie ever made.
Oh my god, it's Taxi Driver.
But with a clown.
With a clown, and also not like 40 years old, so I can
Why you want to
cool
clown
watch.
me?
I pissed off people by like doing the Taxi Driver joke. Because it was in relation to people, for whatever reason, comparing it in Infinity War, and I was like, they thought I was a Marvel fan. I was like, no, it's a funnier thing than I could think of for like the Marvel one at the moment. And then I like thought about it for a second. I was like, oh shit, I couldn't call it the Tony Stark Cinematic Universe. Fuck.
Oof.
Let's be real, that's what it is, though. That's what the Marvel quote-unquote cinematic universe is. It's the Tony Stark cinematic universe.
Yeah, but he's dead now, it's fine.
He'll be back in like 2 seconds.
Unlikely. Well, maybe if they like hire a new actor.
Probably.
Unlikely they're gonna get RDJ to come back. Considering he's old and shit. And like, you know, probably just done. He's like been paid he's been paid a lot. Probably just doesn't want to do it anymore. And I'm probably just doing, I don't want to do these movies forever.
He wants to do other things, yeah.
Yeah, like the hit movie Doolittle.
I forgot he was in that.
Well, it sounds like you don't remember Doolittle. To be fair, I don't.
There's a dragon!
I mean, no matter how bad it is, I don't think he cares. He's already set for life. He's just like, I just like to want to play something where I'm not just joking and being myself for an hour.
Yeah, I mean, fair play to him.
I mean, that's what happens when your first Iron Man movie doesn't even have a script.
I was disappointed he didn't even get blackface to the role, though.
That's true.
What?
I mean, he could have done more. I guess. I mean,
he could have pulled it off. He pulled it off in Tropic Thunder. I think he would have pulled it. I think he could have pulled off, you know, Eddie Murphy cosplay.
It's a kids movie.
I have to find a way to reach
So? saying that blackface is inappropriate for young people? Because tell that to Canada's president.
What do you mean, you people?
I didn't say you people. Did I?
Oh, I'm
No.
just quoting.
No. Oh, okay. I thought I'd accidentally said you people, and I'm like,
Why don't we instead leave this horrible train wreck and talk about Roger Rabbit? You're gonna talk about the differences between the fucking movie and book.
Oh, right, yeah. Cause Deborah asked me about the difference between about the book and how different is it from the movie. And it's like quite a lot, actually. The book's I mean, the movie's not actually not really for kids. There's a lot of like sex and violence based jokes and alcoholism. And,
yeah, but if you're little, you won't understand that anyway.
yeah, the book is a little more on the a little bit more.
I mean, I watched it when I was a kid, and like all this sexual stuff completely went right over my head.
Yeah,
beyond like beyond the bare minimum of she's a pretty lady. Men think she's pretty. Okay.
Yeah.
And that was about it. Now let's get back to the funny cartoon stuff.
Yeah, in the book, Jessica Rabbit's not just attractive too. She's full on.
Is she literally like a porn character?
Yeah. So basically, the book also stars Eddie Valiant, and I think it's still set in the 40s, although I'm not 100% sure now. But it's basically it works on the idea that it's for newspaper cartoons specifically, not like, you know, animated cartoons. And the idea is,
was it actually set in the 40s, or was it just like Toontown is perpetually set in the 40s because it's a toon?
I think it's set in the 40s because the whole thing is like a parody of like detective like noir stuff.
I know that, but I mean, like, we never actually see the regular world. That's not, you know.
What, in Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
I don't think so, do we?
Yeah, there's literally a tagline at the beginning of the movie that says like 1943 or whatever, or 46.
I guess I don't remember that.
It is literally set in the 40s. I've said before, it's like a perfect sort of film noir send-up kind of movie, or like, you know, classic noir detective story send-up. But anyway, so the book's like has a similar setting, and it still follows like Eddie Valiant, who's, you know, I don't think he's a full-on disgraced like drunk cop, but he's like down on his private PI. So anyway, because it's newspaper cartoons, they like have this thing where Toons A can like create word bubbles to like project their words to say things, and B make duplicates of themselves that can survive, stick around for a few hours, and that's like how they do all the sort of crazy stunts, like getting anvils dropped on them instead of, you know, because they can actually die in this.
Just getting an anvil dropped on you and being like, oh, I'm fine.
That's basically so the gag works. So they make a duplicate that basically dies for them.
Yeah. So one day, Eddie.
That sounds oddly suspicious to like the Flash.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Roger Rabbit is like playing not got his own fate strip, but he's like second fiddle with Baby Herman strips, and then like one day his duplicate like comes to Eddie because he's been murdered. But also he's been framed for murder, or the murder of a guy called Rocco, who Jessica is with, and so Eddie like takes on the case of solving Roger's murder with Roger, or Roger's duplicate, and it's sort of meanwhile like all the major players, and also Roger's like last words that were recorded in the balloon were basically said to end on him, who's prime suspect. And basically, all the other sort of major players are looking for Roger's tea kettle for big reason, for some reason. So anyway, like, the story is this really sort of like, I'm not going to say edgy, but it's like sort of really dark, serious, like, well, semi-serious, because it's still a bit of a parody, but like, yeah, there's lots of like things like Toons are played off as second-class citizens, and there's a lot of discrimination against them. Eddie himself is a bit of a bigot. As I said, Jessica Rabbit's actually in porn, or is a porn star. So it's all just a bit. So a lot different from what the movie's like. Just saying, I won't give away the full spot there. big twist, I guess. Just in case people actually do want to read it. Ah, fuck it, who cares? Oh, fuck it, no one's gonna want to read a book. Basically,
Who reads books anymore?
it turns out Roger's tea kettle has a genie in it, right? But it's an asshole genie. And so every time, like, Roger has made a wish, like, you know, or every time Roger's made, like, a wish, it's granted it. But, you know, with he didn't know it was there, but it's granted it, but, you know, like, monkey paw thing, so he's like, oh, he wished to have a career. But he got one, but he has to always play second banana in the strip. He can't ever have his own strip. He wished Jessica would love him, and she did for a year before the magic wore off and she dumped him. And then I can't remember what his final wish was going to be, but what his final wish wound up being, but the genie kills him. So he's the one who kills Roger, but also Roger did actually do the murder he was being quote unquote framed for, and his plan was to frame Eddie for the murder instead. And there's this sort of like weirdly dark moment where the duplicate Roger finds out that Eddie always knew he was the murderer from like literally the first time they spoke about it.
Huh.
And Eddie's just been playing him.
That's pretty fucked.
The whole time. Eddie knew, yeah. And then there's like this whole passage that basically like has Roger sort of lose his mind and get this like weird, insane calm. Like that weird sort of like insane serenity just as like his duplicate starts to fade away because they only linger around for so long. Yeah, the book's weird, but then like the original author like massively prefers the film version because all the two other books he wrote about it are based on the film.
That's actually pretty funny that he prefers the adaptation to his own original story.
Well, I think it's partially helped by the fact that unlike the original, they actually can have characters in it and interact with, as opposed to being like making offhand references to like Bugs Bunny.
Right.
Plus, also he had a lot of trouble getting that book published, from what I remember, because while it is all like serious, like you know, dark and serious and very adult, because a lot of people refused to thought it was a misguided children's book because you know. About cartoons.
It's a different, yeah. Back in that day, especially.
Yeah, back in the 80s, might have been 70s, but yeah, the book's interesting. But the film's better. No, it's not even
like now where you know people are like adults in cartoons are like a normal thing now versus back then.
Yeah, but yeah, it's an interesting book. But honestly, just watch the movie because that's the preferred version, even by the original author standards. It's funny.
Yeah, when the author's like, yeah, the movie's better, you kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
Unlike
Doesn't make me want to read your book then.
I mean, it made me want to read the book. But, you know.
I mean, most authors are like, the movie version of my story is terrible.
To be fair,
usually they're right.
Yeah,
usually they're right, but still.
Very rare a film is better than the book. I'll say the Twilight film is better than the book because you can finish the Twilight movie in like 2 hours or whatever its runtime is.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a lot shorter stay than the book is. I assume. I admit.
Like the size of
the
book from when I've seen it, because I've seen it in bookstores, like the size of a fucking Bible.
I assume it. I don't think I've ever read it. To be honest, I actually think I got dragged by ex-girlfriend to see two of them, but it wasn't the first one, so I've never actually seen that. I saw the one with all the ripped shirtless Native American dudes.
I saw the first one with riff tracks on it, and then I tried watching the second one with riff tracks on it, and I gave up. Oh, hi, Doc Ock. I'm sure you're not gonna smack. Oh no, you smacked Martin. No.
I mean, what's the point of having tentacles? You're not gonna hit people with it.
It's true. Well, now it's Spider-Man's turn to get beat up for the third time.
That's what Spider-Man
You know it's
does.
a Spider-Man story when he's getting beat up.
You know, he plays to his strengths. His strength is getting hit in the face. Spider sense, danger, pow!
His other strength is getting his suit so fucked up. And getting his mask fucked up, typically.
It does seem to happen to him a lot more than it happens to other heroes, yeah.
Honestly, that seems to be a thing with the Spider family in general. To the point where it's like, man, it's a good thing you're just some guy, so no one knows who the fuck you are.
Except that one time he had his own tech company.
Well, yeah. For like a short bit, and then they decided not to have that anymore.
So I was actually wondering about this.
But that's character development. We can't have that.
How many superheroes can you think of who actually work at a newspaper? So I can actually think of 2. Maybe 3.
So Peter at a point, Superman,
the only other one
count.
I'm gonna say no, because what I usually think of is I always think of all those sort of parodies where they joke about, oh man, so many superheroes work at newspapers, and it's like, do so many? I'm pretty sure it's just like the only 2 I can only think of those 2, and then maybe Kyle Rayner, because I think he did some work as like a newspaper cartoonist.
Yeah, Kyle Rayner. I think Donna Troy was a photographer. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, her story is insanely complicated, so...
Yeah. I think it's funny how the second Wonder Girl is less complicated.
He needs a hospital.
I mean...
Yeah,
like Cassandra is so much simpler.
Yes. She's a half goddess. The end.
Yeah, she's a half goddess and a nerd. There you go.
That's why we'll never get a Wonder Girl movie.
Well, you never know. She showed up on Young Justice eventually.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, a lot of people showed up on Young Justice.
That's true. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure if he's like, all right, let's just see how many obscure characters.
Didn't even Cassandra Cain make a fucking cameo in the 3rd season?
I was like, yes, but she was only in 1 episode, and she spent the entire time masked and had no dialogue.
So basically, her appearance in Birds of Prey, gotcha.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like well, no, because she actually, fought impressively, but it's like the only reason they know it's Cassandra Cain is because like the show explains it to you.
To be fair, the only reason we know that one girl in Birds of Prey is Cassandra Cain is because they tell you that's her name.
You can thank me by not dying.
I mean, actually, we can't call it Birds of Prey anymore.
That's a dig. That's a dig at the way that they made her look and wrote her.
We can't call it
Also, Stephanie Brown was there, but neither of them were Batgirl.
Yeah, that's because DC has this whole thing where Barbara's the only Batgirl.
Maybe not anymore.
She's not Batgirl anymore. She's Oracle, and
because what's his face?
No, it doesn't matter. She's the only one allowed to be Batgirl.
Yeah, but maybe not for much longer because what's his face is gone now.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
We did it. We slayed the beast.
Well, he wasn't the one that initially made that.
No, but he did hate like Dick Grayson, and he famously hated Dick Grayson. Someone else he like really despised.
I think
a lot of popular characters he doesn't like, so he kept cock blocking their attempts to,
I'll have to see who they are because I'm curious. I think I know why he doesn't like Dick Grayson though. I can figure this one out. It's very easy to decode. He was jealous of Dick Grayson's ass.
I mean, Dick Grayson ass is fucking nothing compared to Spidey ass.
I mean, yeah, but he doesn't have Spider-Man under his thrall.
Doesn't he?
They say she could go with
No, he doesn't. He's not with Disney.
Man, remember that one? Remember back in the olden days when, like, fucking DC was on the verge of, like, selling rights to Marvel to make movies? Or to make, not make movies, make comic books based on their characters.
Oh yeah, you were mentioning that the other day.
And then, like,
yeah,
and then Marvel's financial troubles happened.
So then they backed off of that idea. Now, mind you, for the audience, that this is like years and years, for some of you that are younger, years and years before Disney owned Marvel.
Well, this was in the 80s. This was
actually, I think Warner Brothers did own DC at this point.
Yes. But basically what happened is DC had sort of major issues with, like, selling comics in, like, the 70s and the 80s. I was having like issues with that, but licensing was still, or merchandising licensing was so good. Meanwhile, Marvel's like riding high at this point. They, hit their stride. They're fucking selling gangbusters.
This was their first golden era.
Spider-Man's got like 5 books coming out simultaneously.
Yeah, this was basically Marvel's golden era. Before the current golden era, I guess. That's, I think on the way out now, but that's besides the point.
So, yeah, DC was like, well, if our books aren't selling, but Marvel's books are selling, what if we pay Marvel money to make books for us? basically. So Marvel wouldn't have gained rights to like their characters, but where they would have been allowed to like.
And in all honesty, nowadays it doesn't even matter as much because I find a lot of comic writers constantly shift back and forth between Marvel and DC.
There's no like.
It's like you take him. Well, you take him. No, you take him.
Well, it's also like a lot of
and I mean like whether they're good or bad, I've noticed that like a lot of writers constantly jump back and forth between Marvel and DC.
Brian Michael Bendis is now joining DC, and everyone was like, "Oh no,
not again!"
But I think it's because a lot of like writers and artists are more freelance now. Because there was like a culture back then of like Marvel and DC keeping their talent in house. And I think maybe kind of like the secession of a bunch of Marvel artists, like Todd McFarlane, or a bunch of Marvel people like McFarlane and what's his name, Liefeld, and Pat Lee and all that to make Image Comics, kind of led to them thinking, yeah, maybe we shouldn't just rely on these people. Maybe we should just hire them or summon them when we need them, as opposed to like trying to keep them in house. Plus, also, Marvel had no fucking money at this point.
Something at the lab I can use.
Yeah. So, but yeah, what happened pretty much was like they were riding high, and then probably when the deal was still in the works, Marvel fucking crashed.
Well, I don't know if they ever actually went into talks with Marvel directly, but I know it was something that was batted around quite a bit. But I think a combination of Marvel crashing and then kind of the post-crisis resurgence of DC. Because once you hit
because what's kind of nuts is DC was fucking big in the 90s.
Well, that's because you had
and Marvel was fairly other than X-Men and Spider-Man, Marvel was struggling.
Well, it's because you had and I put a lot of it down to DC had the Batman movies.
The Batman movies, the many successful cartoon series.
So there was just a whole bunch of stuff to get that was to lead people in, whereas Marvel was unfortunately, because at this point DC was the only company that was owned by a major sort of studio that had access to animation or had access to animation studios,
really high quality animation and shit.
So
to give you an idea too how crazy it is for the audience. Batman Beyond was created just as a cartoon thing, just because of how well that shit was doing back in that era.
Mm.
It was also too to capitalize on at that point people's fascination with future stuff because year 2000. Oh, yep, this is the last chance before the end of the video game. Hitting triangle.
Hooray!
Hit triangle now.
But yeah, so DC. Thanks to the Burton Batman movies and the animated series, DC had a massive resurgence. While Marvel's financial troubles
they stuck with them pretty much until the Iron Man film did really well.
Yeah, they were pretty grim, and then after that, Disney kind of bought them, and that sort of put an end to everything.
Yeah, because their financial woes were still even around with Iron Man, and then Disney bought them.
Well, because a lot of what exacerbates the problem is Marvel was being bought out by venture capitalists and people like that, people who would try and buy a company, do as little as they could to make it turn a profit.
Basically, they would buy it, suck it dry of its resources, and spit it into a dumpster.
Essentially, but that doesn't quite work with comic books because it's a real stupid industry. So trying to make the company profitable, even in the way that they normally would, even in the way that they would try to do it, which would be skimping and saving and everything, because comics aren't made for cheap. Comics can't be made cheaply is the problem. So even your attempts to nickel and dime it isn't gonna work, because there's a whole bunch of shit has to go into it. So, yeah, the methodology of...
And when they're already struggling, the less you put into it, the less you're going to get out of it.
Basically. So, the more that kept happening, the more that... And there was just a lot of... And then there was this massive court case over who actually owned Marvel and who wanted to take on Marvel. And it was just a real bad time for the company. It was basically on the verge of bankruptcy for a decade solid.
That's also why you would see like Marvel characters like from like the 90s all the way up until Disney buying it. You'd see them get licensed for all kinds of shit. It's actually why you saw a lot of Marvel video games like in the 90s and 2000s. Because they were just cheap to make. You can make like a Punisher arcade game and the license was cheap as fuck.
And Disney stepped in.
Now you want to make a Marvel license game. Good luck with that, fuckboy.
Now you gotta make it crap. Now you gotta make it crap.
Yeah, you gotta make it... No, that's the Star Wars division.
Well, maybe not anymore because now they own the X-Men and the Fantastic Four again.
I was gonna say, can you actually name a good Marvel game that came... I mean, apart from this one that we're playing like right now, is there any good Marvel games that came out post-Disney buyout?
Supposedly Ultimate Alliance 3 is good. I've never played it though.
I haven't played it yet. I want to get it though.
I haven't played it, so I'm going to err on the side.
And then the other one we don't know because it's not out yet.
Oh, there's also Marvel. There's also Marvel versus Capcom Infinite.
Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite was
You know,
terrible
I'm gonna be fair though. That game is terrible. I'm gonna be fair though. This is also like coming off of the heels of everything else that the fighting game division of Capcom did that is fucking terrible.
I mean, it was
how you doing?
It was a combination of that, and it was a combination of coming out at the height of Marvel wanting to push the MCU for everything and getting into like a public war with Fox about where they were like publicly we refuse to use the Fantastic Four anymore because we don't own the movie rights and we don't want to give our competition free advertising.
No, but it's fine because it's just functions, Dan. Functions. That's the only reason you like Magneto. It's because of functions.
Yes, it's functions.
Yeah, so he's like the one guy. He's like nobody remembers who fucking Wolverine is anymore, which is a blatant lie.
Yeah, but yeah, what I was trying to say was so. That was a mix of things. So yeah, was it Marvel or Disney was super anal about which characters you could or could not use, and Disney was fucking you then had people like what was his fucking name that fucking pushed for goddamn Bionic Commando.
I mean,
you know, just
well, I mean, Bionic Commando was in 3, so
yeah. But that was also when Capcom was actually pushing the character.
Well, not only that, apparently there's a rumor that like Disney was basically telling them to like pick characters that wouldn't outshine the Marvel characters and also make them worse.
Honestly, that's only been a rumor. I
mean, they picked Dante in, so Dante outshines most characters, so
yeah,
they failed on that.
But yeah, that one, honestly, that's only been a rumor. There was there was like a whole video that like went through all the stuff that we do actually know went into it, and yeah, that was never brought up. In fact, they're like, yeah, that was only a rumor. We found nothing on this.
Well, plus also, I mean, it's like all the characters they did pick. I mean, they're all just fairly Capcom characters who you would put in. I mean, a lot of them are just fucking carryovers from MPC3.
Yeah.
So it's
pretty
not
much.
like
it was the Marvel roster that got gutted.
It's like yeah, what other Capcom characters you could have put in that would be hyper than like Dante, Ryu, Chun-Li?
So the Marvel characters got well, the Marvel characters got gutted, but only in the sense that they picked fucking picked the MCU characters only. That's the only real way they quote unquote got gutted.
Which meant we never got the eight-way air dash character, aka Magneto.
What's also funny though is that because of the way that it went down and how plans got fucking neutered, the Marvel roster is forever bigger than the Capcom roster in the game. By one character.
Who is the one character?
I think it was Winter Soldier.
Yeah, who nobody wanted. They're only putting him in because of the movies.
Basically.
Yeah.
That's just what we need, another guy with guns. We have plenty of those.
Yeah, there was a lot of guys with guns in that game, and there was already after people were like complaining about guys with guns in these games.
But we can't have Gene from God Hand because he's too punchy.
No.
They just don't have Gene from God Hand because the only one who wants them is you.
Actually, no, you'd be surprised. A lot of people wanted Gene from God Hand.
Oh no, he was a highly requested.
He was
character.
very highly requested. He didn't get in for the same reason that Ryu from Breath of Fire never got in, or Foul Lu, even though they were both highly requested characters who were considered for MVC3. It's because those series are dead. and Capcom doesn't want to promote them. That's why we got Crimson Viper in.
Yeah, because no one gives a fuck about the fucking shitty dollar store version of Vanessa from King of Fighters.
I don't hate Steve Viper, but I don't like the fact she got into MVC3 when it's like
Juri was a better character.
Like, yeah, if it had to be another Street Fighter rep, which it didn't, there's so many others you could have picked. But you picked Sea Viper for the sake of it's like, oh, it's Street Fighter, oh, it's, you know, promoting like Super Street Fighter 4, which was either out.
Which honestly, again, they should have picked fucking Juri to promote Super Street Fighter 4 because people actually liked her. Nobody cares about Sea Viper.
Well, you know,
I make the crack about her being a shitty ripoff of Vanessa, but she really is.
That's true. I mean, once that game stopped being the new game, people lost interest in her really fast.
Because Sea Viper didn't even get to appear as a Sea Viper's not even in 5, is she?
She makes like cameos. That's it.
Yeah. So it's like, as I said, I don't hate Sea Viper. It's just she's a filler character who kind of got a lot more push.
Who got more of a push for some ridiculous reason that I don't understand.
Because she was a girl.
I mean, but once again, Juri.
If you want to pick one from 4, you have Juri.
Or Cammy,
for
fuck's sake.
I was gonna say, if you're gonna pick a Street Fighter character, you would go for, because Juri is really popular, you would go to Cammy next, and then either Juri or Sakura, because those are like the next 2 most popular characters when it comes to the female characters of Street Fighter.
But yeah, like Jean from God Hand, Fowler / Ryu from Breath of Fire. They both went.
But I remember they were considering him in 3, like Ryu and shit.
Well, they were both like they were all considered, but for one reason or another, aka because their series
Capcom higher ups.
Yeah, because their series were neither like, you know.
And the last thing Capcom wants, because Capcom's really weird. So Capcom and Nintendo are like polar opposites in this regard. So Nintendo will put like some weird wacky character in Smash, and then like they get popular and like, oh shit, I guess we're gonna do stuff with them again. Capcom actively is terrified of the idea of a fan base for one of their other series getting bigger, and doesn't want to do anything with it.
Yeah, they want to do something unless your name's Captain Falcon and you're from a game called F-Zero, in which case you can fucking die.
That's honestly that's Miyamoto's fault, to be honest with you.
Miyamoto.
I'm not joking. That is Miyamoto's
Why do you
fault.
hate F-Zero?
Miyamoto doesn't want to make another F-Zero game unless he can come up with a new gimmick. I'm not kidding. That's really what it is.
Well, because
I'm not having
Mario
a laugh.
Kart, so what do they need F-Zero for?
Well, it could be a good racing game.
Not allowed.
Mario Kart shit, and they hate it.
Mario Kart's not even the best of like the kart racer games. Honestly, Sonic All-Stars Racing Transform is the best one of those.
Like,
maybe like Diddy Kong.
I've had this fucking argument.
Hell, Crash Team Racing's better.
I've had this fucking argument with people where they're like, "Oh man, why is it you don't like Mario Kart?" Okay, let me tell you why. Because every experience I've ever had with Mario Kart has ended the exact same way, which is that some person gets in first, and then it's just nigh impossible to actually get rid of them from first because everyone else too busy because that's how the game's sort of item system works, where it's like, oh, you got a red shell, well, you can only target the people ahead of you with the red shell. Okay, so if the guy in third is trying to fuck over it, so it's like a chain, right? The guy in first only has to worry about the person behind him, so as long as he gets an item, he's... Because, you know, even a banana...
Unless it's like a close race, then like basically the guy in the back is gonna win because he'll get like the bullet bill or something.
I never felt... I played like fucking like... Must have been like hundreds of hours of Mario Kart like 8, I think. Because
you either got good luck or bad luck. I don't know which one because I saw those all the time.
No, I never had. There was never a close race. It was literally because, like, as I say, here's what would happen with me. It's like, oh, I got in first. Okay, I've got an item. Okay, red shells can't affect me anymore because I've got an item. Okay, guy who's in second is trying to fuck me over, but he's trying so hard to fuck me over that the guy in third can fuck him over because they're trying to fuck him over, so they can get to second, and so on and so forth. Until you get to the guy in 8th, who might as well not bother because they're out of the race. But that was my Mario Kart experience, like basically every race. It's just
my experience is always if you're winning, you're losing.
I never had that. If I'm winning, I've already won. That was my experiences. It's just boring, unfun, and just I fucking hate Mario Kart so much.
you want to change the world,
It's just poorly designed.
you have to be the kind of man who can make.
And yeah, but F-Zero, hey, you could just like make that just an actual racing game, which would be better.
Oh yeah, I can actually put the controller down now, because now this part's done. Now it's just a cutscene for the rest of the recording.
Alright, I guess we just sort of breeze that. Man, it feels a bit. You know what feels really shitty about this whole sort of final battle thing?
Go on.
It is a fucking hate that it's the yellow lights on the spider suit. It should have been white.
They didn't want to make it the Venom suit.
Yeah, but I mean, I know, but it should have been white, because then at least it would have been the, I see you did the visual thing. It's like poetry, it rhymes. And it's like, I just wanted that, but no, it's yellow, so...
I think they were terrified to make it that. I think they just actively didn't want to.
Just pick the Venom. I mean, everyone knows you're gonna do the Venom suit.
Yeah, that's gonna be the next game.
Everyone knows.
Unless Disney's like, don't make it.
It's like everyone knows you can't control the symbiotes.
Don't make it. Don't make the next.
They want to hold it off so they can market it for the next game.
I mean,
unless again, like Disney's like, don't make the next game. We don't want a good game. Stop.
I mean, I'm not entirely sure Disney has so much say in that.
Yeah, I don't know how much say they do have when it comes to Spider-Man stuff.
I'm pretty sure Sony has the final say.
Yeah, I was gonna. That's what I'm fairly certain of, because that's why it's a Sony. Because otherwise, that's kind of why I figured it was a PS4 exclusive, because Sony was like, yeah,
okay,
we
I
have
wasn't
the
sure
rights.
Okay, so it's just basically. Okay, so movie. So what rights exactly do the two companies have of Spider-Man? I'm kind of confused on it.
So Marvel/Disney have the actual rights to the character. What Sony have is the licensing right, or the rights to license it out, or for to make movies. So because Sony have the exclusive rights on movies and stuff, Disney basically needs to say, hey.
So basically, other media, so TV shows, video games.
Yeah.
Though Disney does own the rights to the merchandising, I do know that.
Yeah.
I think Disney can use him in ensemble things.
I mean, from what I understand, Sony's perfectly willing to work with them on things, even front the bill.
It's like how Universal has the rights for a Hulk movie, so they can't make the Hulk a main
Sony has
character in the movie.
Yeah, Sony's up to working with them, but Disney doesn't want to work with anybody.
No, Disney wants to own people.
They want to own it.
So.
And the fact that they haven't been able to find a way to own this is driving them fucking insane.
I also think that because Sony obviously has a huge gaming department, they sort of got the gaming rights lock, stock, and barrel.
Yeah,
that's what I do.
And Sony, honestly, when it comes to their first party stuff like this, they're pretty anal about the quality.
Yeah, they usually.
Unlike say Microsoft.
Well, Microsoft doesn't super have first party stuff really.
They do. They're just shit.
Disney completely nuked their games division, so they can't make games at all without another company assisting anyway.
It's not even just so much that they nuked the game division, their own game division, as much as they've also sort of fucked over a number of publisher companies and created a lot of bad blood.
There was a period back during the Epic Mickey era where they were buying companies left and right, and then just basically doing what the EA does nowadays. So that's what happened. Epic Mickey's they do the EA thing. You don't know what that is?
I know what it is. I just want you to say it.
They buy a company, they suck it dry, and then that's it.
A few hours.
Thank you.
Maybe a day.
Okay. I don't know why you needed me to say that specifically.
Microsoft for years was weirdly the reverse, where they buy a company and they just kind of do nothing with it. They won't even shut it down. They just linger in nothing, doing nothing.
They just let it sit there, paying their regular salaries. Would you like us to make it? Would you like us to make a game for you, boss?
No.
Just sit there.
What EA does is they would let them make their games, and then if they have one fucking failure, they then would take them out back and shoot them with a shotgun. Hello, Pandemic, how you doing? Unrelated content.
The failure that was more often than not down to EA's own
bungling.
Yeah.
Because Pandemic died because Mercenaries 2 flopped.
Man.
If you want me to use them as an example, since I referenced them.
I understood that reference.
That's a shame because I really like Pandemic. Well, I really like Destroy All Humans, Battlefront, the original Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront. You know,
Star Wars Battlefront 2 original was also pretty good.
yeah. I mean,
They're both really good.
I lump them both together, and
Okay.
two substantially better than one. Like,
Yeah.
one is basically a proof of concept. Yes, we can make this kind of game, and they did. And then two's just like, let's just make the perfect Star Wars game.
I played Mercenaries 1. I never played 2. I played 1. 1 was really good.
It's kind of like Just Cause would go on to be.
Yeah, Just Cause is the closest thing we have to a successor to Mercenaries. It's also the closest thing we had to a successor to a successful Bionic Commando 3D game.
Bionic Arm!
And by that I mean the 3D Bionic Commando fucking sucked.
Nobody remembers
It's
3D.
bad.
Nobody remembers 3D Bionic Commando.
Capcom really wanted that to be the next big thing.
They thought it was. Well, they thought they were on a winner. Where it's like, hey, we'll revitalize.
That's from that weird. That, and honestly, I feel like that's from like that weird era of Capcom.
The Inafune.
The Inafune era of trying to make things American, quote, quote.
Yeah, because Americans love having secretly your wife.
Having what? You cut out.
Americans love having prosthetic arms, which is secretly your wife.
They also love Dante.
So, you know.
From what I understand, what's funny about that, is Ninja Theory originally did try to make something closer to the original Dante, and they were told to actively go as far away from the original Dante as possible.
I don't quite even know about that, because I've seen that. I've seen a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff, which basically has...
Oh, wait, yeah. So originally that was what the original concept was going to be, and then they got that guy on board.
The guy who's like, Dante is blank, not a gay.
Yeah.
Not a gay cowboy. Is essentially.
And then, which, by the way, I'm pretty sure the Japanese devs saw that fucking clip because we saw what happened in Devil May Cry 5.
Yeah, he's doing a...
With suspiciously a cowboy hat while doing the Thriller dance and grabbing his crotch. I think one of the Japanese developers saw that comment and was like, okay, well then we're gonna do it. Fuck you.
I mean, to be fair, I suspect that I don't know. It's hard to call Dante gay. It'd be hard to say if Dante's gay or not.
Dante doesn't know what sex is.
Yeah, Dante's like asexual. He doesn't believe in this.
Yeah, Dante doesn't know what sex is. He's Yahoo Pizza Man. He's part of the Japanese protagonist male dudes who are badass but don't know what sex is.
I mean, Virgil doesn't even know what sex is, and he had sex.
Leon was that until the remake decided to make him really horny.
I mean, but Ada dies, so it's fine.
Associate editor.
And we know they never bang.
Until she shows up.
Well, yeah, but he doesn't see her show up.
Find a job yet?
He doesn't
see her show up again until RE4, in which case they don't bang there because she fucks off to hand the pluggers to Wesker, I think?
And then she was in 6 too.
No one played 6.
I did.
I didn't.
You're a scientist.
But
A good one.
Yeah, the last project I worked
yeah,
on,
they had that.
monster
Then there's
destroyed the
Kiryu. And then, let's see, there's Ryu from Street Fighter. He doesn't know what sex is.
You do make a hell of a chicken curry.
I'm trying to think, who are the other
Still
ones
working on my dumplings. Though.
that obviously don't know what a fuck is?
But you know who does?
Oh,
Who?
my new place is
Goofy.
for about a week, so I'm gonna be crashing.
Goofy
my house
fucks.
for a few nights.
I mean,
Goofy has a son.
unless he stole that child.
You can always stay at my place.
Your father doesn't have sex.
No,
actually.
he kid.
Your father
No,
fucks.
he kidnapped Max
I mean,
to get
yes,
someone to
I mean,
pay their
you
fucking
know,
money
I
back.
want to, but meaning I
There you go.
You want to see your son, and you keep him. What? That wasn't part of the. What? God damn it! Now I got a son.
It's like Donald has nephews and Mickey is eternally childless, but Goofy has an actual son, which means he's mechanically had sex at some point.
I mean,
Canon.
the real
sex.
question is,
Yes.
the real question is, who's the mother?
The worst.
Man.
Well, we know she's dead. Maybe it's Maribel Cal.
just maybe the corpse is underneath the goof. It's underneath his house.
Where's my money? Strangling her. Where's my money? Oh, she's dead.
So that's why he moved to Spoonerville.
Yes.
Man, it's got homes heaps of uncomfortable.
I mean, yeah, it's a goof. I mean, yeah, that's what happens when you talk about Goofy and his life.
Remember when Goofy died in Kingdom Hearts?
We'll pay for this.
You mean when he got cracked in the head with a huge boulder and everyone's like, oh,
well, he
he's
must be
dead.
dead. He must be
dead.
Surely.
He must be like nobody checked to make sure he's actually dead.
He gets
just
up
like,
like 5 minutes. He's up like 5 minutes later.
5 minutes later, he's like, where'd everybody go?
Hey, I'm not dead. I just got knocked out for like. Did you even check my pulse?
Oh, but they took his
You
items
assumed
off.
I was.
I mean, to be fair,
You assumed I was dead.
I can get Sora assuming that because Sora's an idiot.
But when he rejoins, all his equipment is gone because it's been restored to the menu, which means they went over to him, they frisked him for all his items, but they didn't check to make sure he was actually still alive.
Yeah, no one checked his pulse or his heart.
Just like, God, give me those potions back. I guess he's dead.
Well, I'm gonna sell this shield, and I'm gonna sell this. Like, do you think like Donald's like they're like Donald's like stripping him, and like Sora's like, you can't just. He owes me $5, Sora. He owes me $5.
No.
Jesus Christ.
It was looking for a lucky emblem, okay?
Yeah, it's like, there's a lucky emblem
that's
on
a
here
different game.
somewhere.
No, that's the next. That's like 5 games down the line. That's not that game.
Donald will forever be known as both the lucky item finder and also someone who can apparently just unleash the exterminatus upon people.
Yeah. God, Donald, man, what a weird. Wow, think of how many fucking times that would have been useful to have.
I'm like, you can just cast a giant doom laser that freaking kills Xehanort. Why didn't you use that before? Why didn't you use that when we were actually fighting him?
You fucking suck, you duck.
I mean, yeah, it knocks him out, but I mean, they could just...
I want to kill him.
Keyblade!
He's half their size. They could just toss him back in the ship.
Well, you see, it's because. Well, you see, the reason is because Keyblade!
And it's because Xehanort was a misunderstood bad guy all along, or a misunderstood good guy all along.
Yes!
Who could ever believe?
I love, though, that actually reminded me, like, some friends of mine who are really into it, I keep making cracks, I'm like, yeah, I can't wait for Sora to come back. It's like, no, he's not coming back. I was like, no one dies in Kingdom Hearts. Yes, they do. It's like, no one dies unless you're, like, Master Ericus.
Unless you're Master Ericus and Mufasa.
And, well, Mufasa was only ever a ghost in Kingdom Hearts.
Well, yeah, because he died in the past because Scar threw him off the cliff.
Maybe Sora's mother.
I'm not an expert or anything. But
Nah, she's fine. She's still making dinner, okay?
I mean, she was annihilated for all of Kingdom Hearts 1, but she was restored with the island, I believe.
It's just, she's just sitting there like it's like the fucking like Mrs. Keene from Powerpuff Girls, and I just sat there cooking dinner for 50 years.
You know, I just realized
something I can't tell my mom.
Kingdom Hearts 1 is Crisis on Infinite Earths. The Heartless are the Anti-Miter Wave.
You know what's probably...
I mean,
you want to know what's more fucked about the whole Sora's mother thing? Is that woman spent a year living in a house with a child's bedroom, and she had no idea why.
Yeah. Who's
Just
Sora?
like-
Never mind.
That bedroom was still... But it's like, why have we got all of these toys when we don't have any kids?
the hell?
Man, I can't wait when we get to follow Sora's son, Spora, who's just like Sora in every way, but more annoying. And then he travels back in time.
What? How, wait, are they gonna reveal like him and like Sora and somebody fucked before he exploded?
Oh no, I was just doing a joke about Boruto.
Yeah, that's fair.
Basically, this. Oh, is this cutscene still going on?
It's the second credits now.
Oh, okay, the second credit. Yeah, this is a good game. I like this game.
Yeah, after. Oh yeah, no, Spider-Man PS4 is really
This
good.
was my
It's probably,
game
like,
of the
one my
year
favorite
back in
Spider-Man games.
2018.
it's definitely like one of the best Spider-Man games.
And
it's really good.
And if it had come out in 2019, it would definitely be getting the second best game because of Devil May Cry 5 is just that good though. Just as a reminder, everyone, I will not be doing DLC right away. I'm kind of Spider-Man'd out at the moment. I'm gonna be plugging my PS3 in, and we're gonna be playing Saints Row, the third.
What?
Huh?
What?
Oh, okay.
What?
Well, yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing, Sabo. It's gonna be Saints Row the third.
Oh no.
Because I kind of just wanted to replay it.
Not Saints Row the Third.
Yeah, the third. Not the second, not the fourth, the third. Definitely not the first. Ugh, not the first. Ugh, ugh, ugh. Who wants to play Saints Row 1? Ugh.
Sorry.
What kind of like primitive man would want to play the first game? Ugh.
Unfortunately, every time I hear the third, I just think of Lupin the Third, which just makes me think of Lupin the Third's theme song.
You know, it's fair. You know, every time I like grabbing something and making a daring escape in a video game, I just think of the fucking Lupin the Third.
Yeah.
Every time. There was a couple times I remember in Metal Gear Solid 5 doing that while like driving away on a Jeep. Man, I wish Metal Gear 5 was a better game. But yeah, so Saints Row will be the next thing. After that, I don't know, because Saints Row is a pretty long game, so it's fine. It's fine. Plenty of time to be in the mood to play some other weird game. Actually, one thing I kind of want to do at some point, I was mentioning to Train, is maybe go back and do Breath of Fire 3, but like restart.
There's going to be a lot. I don't know. I feel like we're going to have to cut a fair bit out. Well, cut out grinding.
I mean, these are mostly like a podcast.
This is true, but I mostly say just because, you know, Spider-Man took like what 13 parts, each an hour long, hour and a half long.
You've been playing that since last year.
He's right, you know.
Haha! I get it because we started at the end of the year. And it's now 2020 instead of 2019. Haha! No one's ever made that joke before, Sabo.
You've been playing that since last Christmas.
Isn't he funny? I'll kill him.
10.
That's a bit excessive.
He's right, you know. This is how time works. But yeah.
Funny joke. Wordplay.
It's not wordplay. It's just the statement
just the
of how
truth.
time. It's just time.
It's been a whole year. Haha, get it? Because it's a different year now. Haha. Been hearing that joke so much.
Really?
I think I killed him.
Oh,
no, since the start of the year, everyone making jokes like, "Oh, I haven't seen you since last year."
Okay. I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure I only complained that you took forever playing Spider-Man like twice. And this is the second time.
I was going to say, the only time joke I ever make is every New Year.
Actually, I can tell you actually, if you give me a second, I can tell you the exact number of Spider-Man videos. Give me one
I'm fairly
second.
certain it's for... I don't know, I think it's 13.
Who walks up to you and says, "Oh, I haven't seen it since last year"?
When the year first switched.
South Jersey.
I mean...
when the year first switched, you fucking twit.
I mean, what I do... I do this
I know
every...
that, just nobody up here would say something that's stupid.
I mean, what I do every year to all of my people in different time zones is I say greetings from the world of tomorrow.
Yes,
Yep, he does that.
Every year.
So, actually, Train, with this video, it will be the 13th part of Spider-Man.
Well, yeah, I meant including this, it's 13, because...
Yeah.
This video
So Sabo, if we were to... so, basically, barring, like, botched recordings, that means that we only really did this for, like about a month.
I mean, 13 weeks.
13 weeks is not a month.
Oh, 13 weeks. Oh, not 13 weeks.
That's like 4 months.
So, 4 months, okay.
that's a lot. It's like we've only been doing
Sorry,
about
sorry,
a month.
my brain...
I'm like, what? No, 13 weeks is not.
Wait, sorry, my brain farted out, sorry.
Wait.
But...
That's almost a quarter of a year.
I mean, I picked a long game on fucking purpose.
Man.
There's a reason I pick a long game rather than a short game, because then you blast through it real quick, and it's like shit.
I'm learning so much about how time works today.
Listen, my brain farted out.
You were just hoping
I'm also...
get all of our bad references out of
I'm also still recovering from that stupid fucking... We've been playing it since last year, haha!
Okay, serious question now then. Is light a particle, or is it a wave? Because it has properties of both.
I'm not a fucking scientist. Get the fuck out.
Oh.
Light particles, man.
But what about light waves?
I don't fucking know. Shut up.
Ah.
The fucking credits are still going. Jesus
There are long
Christ.
credits. Lots of people worked very hard on this game, and
They
probably a lot of crunch.
A lot of crunch. A lot of them probably got sick and aren't so well. Oh, I probably shouldn't make that joke.
No, probably not.
It's not really a joke. That's just true.
So get
That's
this. Because of potential coronavirus fears in Japan, they've shut down all schools in the entire country today until the end of March. This is Japan. Japan closed all their schools.
Japan didn't even close all their schools when there was when a nuclear power plant was.
I'm gonna say yes. Japan did not close their schools when they got hit by a tsunami, which caused a nuclear accident. But they're closing their schools now.
They got hit by tsunami? Damn it, Tom!
They got hit. Damn it, Tom!
Damn you, Tom! Why?
That's why they tried to take them off the air for so many years. Because he fucking
that was
smashed
Tom's
his ship
revenge.
into Japan.
Kick
Yes,
me
you're
off,
correct.
will you? I'll obliterate the thing you hold most dear, Japan. And then
Yeah, he just crashed his ship into the ocean, and
I'm
that's
not
what
just
caused
gonna-
the tidal wave.
It's like I'm not gonna piss on the earth. I'm gonna piss on fucking Japan. Take that, Obama, you idiot.
That's why tsunami was reinstated. To appease Tom.
So he'd stop sending his fucking drop ships onto Japan.
Oh. You're welcome, Cartoon Network. Oh, we're horrible people.
Fucking hell.
Yeah,
We are.
that's fine. It's fine. I mean, to
It's
be fair,
fine.
Japan's also always had like, massive things to do with like the spread of contagion and stuff. I mean, hell, that's why a lot of people it's a fairly common sight to see people just walk around in face masks, not because they are actually sick, just that was the style at the time.
But I mean, I'm just saying, like, they didn't close the schools for Fukushima, but they're closing it now.
Well,
The Olympics isn't going to happen.
probably not. It's a bit awkward to have that. Well, actually, no. The IOC still says that they're going to do it because the IOC are a bunch of corrupt fucks.
Yeah, because they've spent the last 4 years outfitting Japan for, like, man, we didn't shutter up all those weird hentai stores in Akihabara just not having Olympics.
I mean, hell, they made Brazil have an Olympics, and Brazil couldn't even afford it. They're
Yeah.
still like financially bankrupt because of the Olympics.
Just because we can't afford it doesn't mean we won't have it. Explode.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And I guess it's very fitting considering this game ends on a big old pathogen that's killing people.
Yeah, it's true.
No, well, no, it ends with the pathogen being cured.
By Spider-Man.
But Aunt May dies.
Thanks, Spider-Man. You did the correct choice. Man, it is like a really
The pathogen is cured, but the old person dies. So it's just like the coronavirus, or rather, the optimal solution for coronavirus.
You know what we should do?
What?
I don't know. I was asking you.
I thought you were like
Nah.
that's just like one of those. You know what you should do?
It's one of those things where I was speaking and I was hoping that by the time I finished speaking, my brain would have come up with something else to say at that point. You ever had?
See, now you know now you know what it's like to feel like to be me.
Well, I don't know. I'm not that bad yet. I at least know how time works. Time is like.
Or do you?
Yeah, but to be fair, to be fair though, you do think Final Fantasy X is a good story.
I think it's like. I mean, yeah. I'll take
Sin's a flying plot hole.
I mean, no, he's a plot whale.
He's a plot hole
He's
generating
a fail whale. No, it's fine. It's
Every
fine.
time-
It's sin toxins.
Syntoxins. Those create the dreams. What are dreams?
No.
Syntoxins. Okay, where's syntoxins?
No. The sin toxins don't create the dreams. All the fucking dead people create the dreams. The sin toxins just excuse why T doesn't know anything. He's
like, why don't you know anything? Syntoxin.
he's doped up to the eyeballs on sin toxins. Okay.
So wait. So dead people make dreams,
Yes.
but dead people are just become dead because they don't they're not sent, then they're
No.
dead people.
No.
But then they have dreams and what?
Okay, so here's what happens, right? People get like magic wizard guy. It's like, okay, guys, I want to make like a bit like a cool ass summon, so I need to kill some of you and keep you in this sort of not quite dead, not quite alive state. And they're like, yeah, okay, we'll do that. So then that's how they make bitchin' summons in FF10. If you die and you don't go to the magical or whatever it was called, then you become an undead. But then sometimes you become a not undead. You become a cool guy undead who manages to maintain your actual form.
Yeah. It's like sometimes you turn into a monster, but sometimes you might just turn into an undead version.
But
of
the way
yourself.
they play it seems like if you just die, you just become an undead.
Sometimes, unless you die and then you don't become an undead, and then you just.
I mean, it depends how strong your will is. I think.
I don't think they ever explained that. I think you're doing the work for the writer who didn't do
No,
any work.
all of this is said in game. It's like if you die,
if you die, you become unsent. Okay.
unless you are sent, in which case you're sent.
In which case you're sent,
Right.
or unless you turn into a fiend.
Yeah, you can either
How
become
do you turn
a
into
fiend.
an unsent because of a fiend? Well, Orin's like, I just hated Unaleska really, really, really badly.
Yeah, or well, actually, how Auron got out of it is when he died. He went to Hercules, underworld, and Hades was like, okay, if you go and kill Hercules for me, I'll let you go.
Stop.
And then Auron was like, fuck you, I do what I want, and then he peaced out. And then he saw Donald and Goofy went on this magical adventure through the underworld. And then he was like, you know what, I better go help Tidus. And then he did.
Because he's a dream.
Exactly.
What's a dream?
Well, you
He's a
see,
dream.
um,
Couldn't you just say he's an unsent?
I mean,
Oh.
he is.
He's
No,
a
he is
dream.
unsent. They explicitly say he's unsent.
No, they call him a dream. He's a dream. He's
No,
not an
Tidus
unsent.
is a dream. Auron's an unsent.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Tidus is a dream.
No.
Tidus
Yeah,
is a dream.
well, yeah,
Tidus-
no,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
Tidus
because
is a dream.
I'm making fun of Tidus. I'm making fun
I
of
thought
Tidus
you-
right now.
Okay, yeah, Tidus is a dream. And then
Yeah,
he was
Tidus is
a
a dream, so I was-
and then he was real.
Oh yeah, in 2. I was just talking about 10 by itself.
And then he
well,
wasn't
no,
a dream.
Tidus was a faith, which is apparently where you're just like, I'm just gonna sleep for a real long time and maybe turn into a summon monster if you need me.
No, he was
Yeah,
a dream.
so Tidus is one of the members of Dream Xanakin, which are made up by all the people who were in Xanakin back when Spira fucked it up. and
Well,
then-
but you don't have to be from Dream because, like, you know, Seymour's mom was like, I'll turn. Seymour's mom was like, okay, I'll turn into a faith and become your Ion or whatever.
and become anime, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was what she did. She intended, but she
So,
was a
so apparently you could just be like, okay, I'll go. Apparently, any person at any point can go to be like, yo, turn me into one of your sleep people too, and they're like, okay, sure.
No. There's a difference between being an ion, which is just like a thing, basically a totem that creates like a summon, and being an actual dream, which is what Tidus was, because he was dreamed up by all the people from Xanakin, who Yevon was keeping around inside of Sin. It's really simple, guys.
It's really simple if you're talking about a story written by an idiot.
Here, just like huff some more of these Sin toxins.
It's so fucking bad.
I mean, I said it's an. I think I.
You know what though?
Well,
It's still not as bad as 13, where in order to figure out what the fuck's going on, you gotta hit the pause button and then go into the lore menu.
Yeah, but at least 13 comes with an ending, unlike 15.
Unlike 13 too.
Oh, I mean, who cares about who? I mean, most people check.
Remember when 13-2's ending was gonna be a DLC? It was gonna be DLC, and they instead decided to make a whole fucking game
Yeah.
just because Toriyama really wanted to wank it to you. You have lightning for like 30
Yeah,
hours.
but they did 15 where the ending was DLC.
Yeah.
So, you know.
No, I just want. I haven't. I got no horse in the race of 15. I just wanted to make fun of 13.
No, that's fair. I just.
All because he's like, I really think Lightning is hot, but Vanille's the protagonist. Not anymore!
I mean.
No, the problem was they'd already made Lightning, and then
My favorite
marketed
thing,
her-
too, about Lightning's... My favorite thing about Lightning's character is that she's redundant because Fang already exists.
No, well, this is the thing with Lightning. They designed her as a cool looking character, and then marketed her as a protagonist, and then they decided they were going to write the story that mostly focused on other people. But they're like, oh crap, we spent 3 years hyping Lightning as a protagonist. We still have to use her.
No, so Vanille was supposed to be the protagonist originally. And so what happened was, so Vanille was supposed to be the protagonist, and then, when they were going to E3, Toriyama swapped the promotional art to one with lightning. And then Square, which is run by literal space aliens, reacted to that by going, well, I guess we're going to have to make lightning the protagonist now. Well,
I feel like this is basically the end of like Super Android 13, where it's all just sat on the iceberg set, wondering, is it over? Not till the fish jumps.
Yeah.
And then
that's what it kind of
and
is.
then edit now,
and
then just as this video ends, edit in like Sid jumping or something. It's over.
If I'm gonna do that, I might as well just fucking show the scene from Free Willy of the whale jumping. I'm gonna put the Sin
it's just like it's over, not to the fish jumps, and then Sin just like slowly rises out of the water for like 30 seconds while.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I won't even do that. I'll just have it be a fucking shitty JPEG that I'll just put over the thing, just slowly move across the screen and cover the entire picture.
And then they sit there, and then as soon as it's done, and then they look at each other and they're like, "Wait, but I thought we killed," and then they just cut it off right there.
I ain't fucking doing all that work. Fuck that and fuck you.
It's okay. Dan won't remember because of the sin toxins.
It's true. The sin toxins will make me forget.
No, I'm not saying how you should
Just
end
like
the
the
video.
syntax-
I'm saying that's how they should have ended Final Fantasy X.
You see, the sin toxins will make me forget, just like the sin toxins made the writer forget how to make a story.
But it's fine because Final Fantasy X is a prequel to FF7.
I'm sorry.
Oh, if you don't know about this.
Oh god, that's right.
So in 10-2, right? One of the randoms on the like crew members.
Oh no, Shinra.
There's a kid called Shinra, and when you talk to him, he's like, "So I just had this great idea to harvest the planet's energy into like a limitless power source." And then that's basically implying that like 10 is like, the prequel to 7.
Oh my god.
So that's a thing.
That just makes 7 worse.
No, Dirge is Cerberus, mate, and Advent Children makes 7 worse.
Can we just say all of them?
Everything that's not 7 makes 7 worse.
Can we just say all of them make it worse? Kill every last one.
That's not fair. Crisis Core makes 7. Okay.
Crisis Core was okay.
We like Zack.
Crisis Core was alright.
Even though it does introduce another Turk who's just there, and you're like, I wonder why the Turks didn't call on Cisne in 7. Why? I wonder why Angio and Genesis were never mentioned in 7.
It's almost like they didn't think of these characters before.
Fucking Genesis.
Genesis!
Well, now that Gak's not popular anymore, he hopefully won't be in Remake. And then watch Genesis is all over Remake. he's just like, hey Cloud, it's me, your best friend, Genesis. And Cloud's like, yeah, Genesis. Hi, Genesis.
It's me, Genesis. You suspiciously look like a washed-up old musician. Shut up, no.
Let the quote poetry at you.
I don't want to have poetry quoted at me. Jesus Christ, these credits are still going.
Okay, I felt bad for a second because I was like, man, the credits must have ended ages ago, and we're just still going on with this stupid bullshit.
They're going on so long. I started looking at shit in my room, like, oh, I gotta straighten that thing out. I gotta. I literally just been trying to come up with something bullshit, and then looking around my room at shit and being like, oh, I gotta fix that. That thing is like kind of ajar there.
Ugh. Man, I don't feel guilty.
I mean, I don't want to, I'm not going to get rid of the credits because, there are a lot of people that worked on it and they deserve to show up on my stupid screen that 5 people will watch.
They deserve all the credit they get by us completely talking about everything but their fucking game for 13 episodes.
Hey, we talked about their game for a couple of episodes.
Oh. I mean...
Maybe not the majority, but a couple.
We talk more about Spider-Man and fuck, what was it before this one?
Transformers.
Yeah. No, actually, no. We talked a lot about Transformers and Transformers because I can talk a lot about Transformers because there's always some stupid, dumb shit I remember.
We talked a lot about Gundam when we did Gundam, and Spider-Man. We kind of blew our load before Spider-Man. Because we did talk about it a lot in it, and I think we just talked about a lot of our thoughts.
By that I mean you complained over and over and over and over and over again about how it's too much Iron Man in the MCU Spider-Man.
He's right,
Well, it's true.
I mean, I know
it's true both ways.
I mean, I know it's true, but I'm like, that is, yeah, you kind of got that all out before we even started Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, that's because also all the Spider-Man news like started to dry up. Like also like was all dried up by the time.
Yeah,
we did
because
this.
and also it doesn't help that none of us saw Far From Home.
I did.
You did. Oh, okay. I didn't see Far From Home.
That's why I keep making cracks saying I got like, oh good, I'm glad that we retread the same character.
Well, I'm just
Thanks.
really
Also,
glad
Uncle Ben.
that Tony Stark's entire sort of last will and testament is, by the way, 16-year-old boy, have a kill sat. And you're like,
Yes.
I thought Stark Industries stopped making weapons.
You're looking for stability.
Well,
in this
it just wasn't
Tony
like
Stark
the entire
cinematic
first
universe.
movie is like, yeah, we're done making weapons, and it's like, yeah, okay, you can argue about the Iron Man suit being a weapon, and like there's arguments made about that. I feel like the satellite that just launches missile strikes and laser shit and whatever.
No, they kept making weapons. They just made weapons only for Iron Man and the Avengers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like they stopped selling it to the military.
Man, and maybe superhero teams should stop like getting giant, big off fuck off space guns, because that just feels like the villains just always hijack those.
I mean, they had
Hijack them, or usually a lot of government agents start getting weary. Oh wait, that's only in DC. Never mind.
I mean, they had a whole fleet of like fighter jets, and they had like a satellite that launched a anti-Hulk suit.
You know, actually thinking about it, the government in Marvel only gets weary if you're a mutant.
Or if you're Hulk, because
They
they
let
let Thunderbolt shoot up the skull Ross. Fucking General Thunderbolt destroyed Harlem Ross. I'll never forgive him, and I don't understand how he got as far as he did when his career is, as far as we're aware, losing the most one of the most potentially valuable military assets known to man, which is the Hulk, for years. Shooting up a populated college, and destroying Harlem. I feel like after that many fuck ups, you ain't really you shouldn't just walk into a top job. God.
I mean,
admittedly, a lot of this is also because they hate Thunderbolt Ross.
Clearly he has white privilege.
Well, a lot of this is I also hate Thunderbolt Ross in the comics because they made him Red Hulk, and I fucking hate Red Hulk.
I mean, you're not gonna get an argument out of me.
It's just.
Red Hulk is from the era when, for whatever reason, when DC was starting to make all those different, Green Lantern rings, Marvel's like, we need to make that too, and then they just turned over to Hulk and went, what if we made a Red Hulk, a Blue Hulk, I never understood that thinking process, Joe Quesada, because that was your idea.
Here's the Hulk, right? But he's red. Okay?
Another thing I had to get mad at him about, and that's why I never met him.
I never want to meet him because I'll yell at him.
Did I tell you that?
Yeah, when you were at a convention and you could have met him, but
I was at a convention and I had the opportunity to meet Joe Quesada, and I deliberately didn't because I knew I would just go off on him about something.
Exactly, that's smart. That's what I would have done too.
I would have just jumped over the table why did you do one more day, you fool? Why would you think that's?
Why did you do one more day? You just pull out a big list. Why'd you do one more day? What the fuck was House M for? Why did you?
And then I'd just be banned from the convention circuit for life.
As the security guards are dragging you out, you're still yelling about various things that he did.
This was the same time.
Why did you name his new love interest after your daughter, you creep?
This was the same convention that I ran into Stan Lee, but I didn't realize he was Stan Lee until he was already gone. He
figured it out as he was leaving. He heard Excelsior.
No, just I bought an ice cream at the stand, and I was walking by, and Stan Lee walks by, and he's like, "Hey, young man, how you doing?" And then he walked away, and I was focused on the ice cream, and I was like, that guy kind of looked like Stan Lee, and then I'm like, wait, I'm at Comic-Con, that probably was Stan Lee, and then I turned around, but he was gone.
That was probably his goal.
Could have been.
He probably actively wanted to do that. He's like, I wonder if he'll notice who I am if I real quick go in and just say, hello, young man, and then leave really quick. I'm going to leave him just wondering for years.
I'm going to do to him what I did to Jack Kirby. Abandon him. Quickly.
Oh! Hey, Young man, do you have any good ideas for comic book characters I could get inspiration from? I love Stan Lee, but I'm gonna dunk on him.
I mean, I think it's
like,
fair.
Yeah, I just did not have a good look at it. There was also like there was this Japanese like idol group there
Oh no.
that I just happened to run into as they were coming out from backstage, and like I had no idea who they were because I don't follow Japanese idols, and they were like, "Oh, we're such and such a group," and I was like,
"Oh, you told us about this."
Yeah,
where they were upset.
Yeah, they were.
When
They,
you
they
didn't
were
know who
upset,
they were.
and I was like, "Oh, that's great. I don't really know who you are," and they were like, "What?" But we're whatever they're called, and I was like, I don't know. I'm sorry.
I don't listen to you guys. I'm sorry.
I mean, my
Don't get
tactic
mad.
to avoid situations like that is to learn how to say I don't speak English in as many languages as possible. So
I mean, I went to Comic-Con. I didn't think I'd be running into all these like actual important people.
So the idea being,
you went to New York Comic Con, probably.
Yeah, it was New York Comic-Con.
well, this was also
Yeah,
back,
yeah. You're like, huh? I didn't expect to meet people at New York
well,
Comic
to
Con.
be fair, this was also back when New York Comic Con was the main Comic Con before they were like, actually, San Diego is a lot closer, and we can just go there, and all these famous people could just go there and then go home.
Well, no, I know famous people are at Comic-Con, but usually you usually have to pay $25 and wait in line for 2 hours just to get like a quick picture with them or an autograph. I didn't expect them to just like walk into them walking around by the food stand.
It happens, honestly.
That's usually not, yeah.
It honestly, like, I know, like, I remember at one con, it's a voice actor, but I kept bumping into Kyle Hebert to the point where it became a running joke between the two of us.
Is that why he recorded the Big the Cat thing for you?
Well, it's for a friend of mine, but probably. I kept bumping into him to the point where we started just, where I think, like, at one point, we did, like, the equivalent of, like, you remember the old, like, fucking Looney Tunes verse where it was like, hello, Sam, hello, Paul? Like, we just started doing that at one point.
You should have had it. You should have like tried to do it. So every time you met up, you had like different. You had like you know, you played it off differently. So like when you first meet, it's like, oh, hey, real nice. Second time you meet, it's like your old enemies. Hello, Kyle. Hello, Dan. We meet again, Kyle ain't there for the last time.
It's like it is I, Dan.
From
Emerald Splash, more like belong in the trash. Die, Kyle Hebert.
From Hell's Heart, I stab at thee, Kyle Hebert.
Because of those things, like, why does Kyle Hebert have an issue with this really short Irish guy? What the hell? What did this Irish guy do to him?
They're Irish. You're always. I mean, the Irish are just, you know, violent sociopaths in general. Hey, you're all a bunch of terrorists. I am allowed being terrorist scumbags.
Whatever you say, colonialism.
Hey,
man.
we improved their lives by ending
Whatever
them.
you say, colonialism.
We
man.
killed a lot of people to make.
I'm gonna say we're going to improve your life with this smallpox blanket.
That was more the other people. You know, for some reason the French seemed to get a free pass, and they were as bad as we were. Now, what about Columbus? Why does he get a fucking day?
You know, I don't understand that either.
I remember watching a thing where they were like, all about time travel. Oh, we could go back and see Columbus. Like, yeah, I wouldn't do that. So,
Probably kill
sadly,
you.
half of them were only half of them were intentionally killed. The other
Like the one
half
guy's
were
like,
accidents.
he's like Columbus basically killed his way through the South Pacific up into the U.S. and then he went home with many things he'd stolen.
And he didn't even discover. He didn't even discover America first. It was Leif Erikson.
He's just the first one that bragged about it.
It was the first.
Oh, that reminds me. There's a cut scene from The Mask where it's basically that, where Leif Erikson leaves the mask. Leif Erikson leaves the mask here and goes, oh, well, maybe the Spanish will discover it, and then leaves.
Fucking Spanish.
In memory of Steve Ditko, who with a stroke of a pen made the world amazing.
That's another guy who Stanley
That-
fucked over.
Does Stanley play
There's a
nice with
list.
anyone?
No.
Stanley.
Yeah, Stanley basically. The problem was the real problem was that Stanley became like actually famous because Marvel used him as a the kindly old man who they could trot out to, you know, as the face of the company. Which isn't a dig at him, but that's just how Marvel utilized him.
Hey, don't forget that he made Stripperella.
I choose not. I don't forget because I never forget embarrassing, stupid things that most other sensible people don't know about. But
You know what I think my favorite thing about that whole thing is the reason that thing all fell through was, and I'm not even kidding, was because Pamela Anderson kept arguing with the team because the team wanted to make the character a redhead and she wanted to be a blonde. I'm not even kidding.
sounds about right.
I will fight.
Are we still
I mean-
recording?
Credits
Yes.
are still going.
Jesus,
Well,
still?
now it's the Norman Stinger
Ah,
now.
yes.
Oh,
The Green Goblin
So
and
we're
Venom.
almost out of the woods,
you're gonna
guys.
see the credits started a half an hour ago.
Yeah, I know. They were that fucking long.
If you managed,
Most of the gameplay was most just recording. I didn't have my hands on the
I
controls.
guess
Hey.
we've just been ranting for so long. I'm like, he must have turned it off at some point by now.
if you stuck around with this long, you stupid idiot. Why? I wouldn't, and I'm here. I checked out like half hour ago.
I'm Captain America, and I'm here to tell you a lesson about patience.
Spider-Man, congratulations! You have finished the main story, but the adventure continues. So our start a fresh adventure in Ultimate Difficulty. All right, guys, join us next time for Ultimate Difficulty. I'm fucking around. No, we're not
I do
doing it.
legitimately,
Maybe we could take an entire year to do that one.
you know, I legitimately think though that we could probably make a soundboard of me and Dad just that could cover like vast majority of commentary on these things.
Just like take a library of shit and just put it up and just record myself playing the game without commentary, slap it
Yeah.
on, and then walk away.
Yeah. Just like press the.
You know, actually, there was a gag that me and a friend did with something where when we were doing like a recording of like a movie we didn't like. We did a gag where we stopped in the middle of the recording and then just recorded a bunch of generic responses and literally walked away for like 30 minutes. Unfortunately, that video is lost in the sands of time.
Lost in the annals of history.
Yeah.
Anyway.
The old days of YouTube. Anyway, guys, we're going to stop here because this is long as fuck. Hope you enjoyed it. Enjoy us next time for the Saints of Rose. Have a good day.